Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
what would women dislike most if they became men? I'm 6 feet 1, 265 pounds, brown, bald. No one has sat next to me on a bus in years. A child refused to sit next to me on a flight once and threw a tantrum about it. I ignored her the entire time. But oof, that hurt. I cried watching Coco. Yeah, recently a crying lost child came up to me at the store and grabbed onto my leg. Before I could even react to this, the mother came around the aisle and screamed at me, "Leave my baby alone," as if I'd done something. The looks I got from the other shoppers, I genuinely feared a vigilante mob awaiting me as I left for literally nothing. People are harsh. Oof, I had something similar happen to me in an apartment complex. I was moving laundry at the on-site and found a 6-year-old crying and walking through the parking lot around 10 p.m. Poor kid had his mother flip on him and told him to walk to his dad's, wherever the fuck that was. He had no shoes and sobbing with his blankie. As I'm comforting him, his mom obviously came to her sense and came storming and screaming at me. Luckily I had asked the kid what apartment he was from and sent the cops over there. Still think about that boy sometimes. I bet even if security showed her a picture of her child grabbing onto you, she'd still argue that you must have done something to prompt it. Crying in front of people has the exact opposite effect. My estimation of John Sacrimony as a man just fucking plummeted. Unironically, that was a really sad fucking episode. Being treated like a second-rate parent even if you're the only parent. I'll need to get an okay from her mom before I can cut her hair. Well, she's dead, so I don't know how that's going to work. My brother lost his wife 2 years ago and we've had a few instances like this. Boy, people pucker right up when you tell them that. They letting you babysit. Whenever my wife is without our kid, they're always asking who is watching him. Like I am his father. He's not being babysat, he's not being watched, he's just at home with me. Foreign concept to so many people. Receding hairlines and baldness. Plenty of hair on the butthole, though. Don't forget the ears, eyebrows, and nose. People thinking you're a pedo when you're watching your own kid at the park. When my son was in diapers, I lived in Germany and often ventured around other parts of Europe. No fucking changing tables anywhere in men's restrooms. So frustrating when you're just, trying to be a dad and take care of your poopy child. I moved back to the US when my daughter was 3 months old, and holy shit, it is so much better here for that. I changed my daughter's poopy diaper on the hostess desk of a restaurant because they refused me access to the women's restroom, which had a changing table. A month later they had installed one in the men's bathroom. This is why I only watch other people's kids at the park. Which one's yours? I haven't chosen yet. What about you? How often they'll be asked to do manual labor, even if it has nothing to do with their work. Because you're the guy on the team. As the dad of the family, here are things that, instead of other people fixing, they just tell me about and expect sometime that stuff to be fixed. Clogged toilet, apparently only men can hold a plunger. Clogged sink, only men can snake out a drain. Broken car, only men can call a mechanic. Spider, only men can capture spiders. Dog poo on lawn, only men can pick up dog poo. Bumps in the night, only men can walk to their own doom in the middle of the night. Clogged anything is the clogger's fucking problem. Broken car, only men can call a mechanic. TBF, a lot of mechanics will lie to a woman and overcharge for things that don't need fixing. You may go a year or 10 without a single compliment. Many men are laying in their casket before many good things are ever said about them. I had a woman compliment my parallel parking skills 30 years ago. I can tell you when and where. Thanks for the upvotes. It was an overcast day, but not cold, 19.5 C I believe. Gas was $1.22 and I'd just bought a sack of onions, one to keep on my belt, which was the style at the time. So true, LMAO. The last, real, compliment I got was 3 years ago, LMAO, that too from my dad's, male, boss who said I've an amazing smile. Well, unless my mom counts. I'm the most eligible bachelor in India as far as she's concerned. Tears of joy. Hey, woman here. Can you give me a few examples of things I can compliment men about where there's no chance they'll take it as I'm interested in them? Because I try to compliment y'all and it backfires in my face. But maybe I'm not saying the right things. The societal expectation to always be the provider or to have a successful career could be exhausting. And combine that with the inability to open up about anything. I once had a GF get mad at me for not being more open with my feelings. Then I told her about how shitty my workday was and she asked if I was gay. Fucking A, can't even complain about a rough day at work. Loneliness. Related to this is lack of compliments and sympathy from people. Plus, not being able to show as much emotion unless you want people to think you're weak. People being afraid of you for nothing you have done. 6 feet 3,300 pounds. I hate it. I like going on walking trails, and I can feel the tension in the air whenever I walk past people. I'm not going to grab you and eat you. I hardly say hello or acknowledge people anymore because one of the last times I did, the woman jumped in terror. I get it, it's the world we live in. But I feel like Shrek. I got pepper sprayed once for following a woman off the bus, the 4 following blocks, and then approaching her when she went into a yard, onto a porch, and pulled keys out. It was my porch. We had the same route home and she picked my porch hoping I'd walk past. My confused, "Can I help you?" put her into flight. In hindsight, I get it, but damned if I know what I should have done. My 6 feet husband was walking our Rottweiler on a trail once, and a woman came around the corner and my husband said, "Are you alone?" Scared the shit out of that woman, which totally confused my husband. He was asking because he wanted to know if more people were coming around the corner so he should leash up our dog or not. He was holding the dog's collar so the dog wouldn't go up to her. Men who don't want to hurt women often don't understand what a woman is afraid of. Removed. I'm always friendly with the older ladies I see on the bus or whatever because I know they probably won't think I'm being weird by just talking. As an older lady, it is my pleasure to talk to you. I haven't experienced becoming invisible to people at all, but I got that kind, funny, grandma thing going for me, so that's something. Now if you were saying invisible to the opposite sex, mostly, but I smiled at a guy in the store the other day and he creepily followed me through the store until my son walked up to me. Random body hair appearing everywhere. Like, I did not sign up for this werewolf life. Except your head only tries to get rid of the only good-looking hair you had. I have a fucking mane, glorious flowing locks right now. If my body decides it's time to start letting go of it all, I'm going to be pissed, like why? What is even the point? Where did this genetic feature come from? I don't have to be a man for this. I'm already living the werewolf life, skull. Well, this thread is depressing. We don't talk about that. Dealing with performance anxiety and losing an erection would probably be one of the toughest experiences for women if they became men. Or getting rejected for sex. There's come a moment in every one of my long-term relationships where I didn't want to when my girl was asking, and they frankly do not know how to take it, and I'm like, "Girl, you turned me down like 4 times just this month, and I'm not allowed to be tired on a Tuesday." Quote. Oh yeah. In my experience, women in relationships do not take sexual rejection well from their partners. I have had to explain to a grown-ass 35-year-old girlfriend that me not being in the mood literally has nothing to do with her desirability and that it is absolutely not fair to me to be upset at me about that. She actually admitted that yes, it's true that she doesn't handle sexual rejection well because it's hard for her to understand that a guy wouldn't want sex. So she takes it personally. 35 years old with a lot of experience. You're screwed if woman accuses you of some violation. Happened to me at work. I work mostly with women, so everyone turned away without telling me what happened. People didn't want to work with me, were saying they're scared of me, etc. Turns out some old lady said I violated her physically on out night shift. Why did she say that? No idea, maybe bad dream, maybe she's just a bitch. Thing is, I'm gay and she didn't know that, so it all turned against her, but if I didn't have this go out of a jail card, my life would have been ruined. Oh, in case you're wondering, she faced 0 consequences. I had this happen in my marriage. My wife met a man where she worked and ended up having an affair. She wanted a divorce and, instead of telling people she found someone new, she told everyone I beat her. I never did. Try and tell that to people and they look at you like you're lying. Everyone felt sorry for her and I was ostracized. During the breakup with one of my exes, she confessed that she'd been pretending that I abuse her so her coworkers would give her attention. During that conversation I found out that she'd been lying about a lot of things. That one hurts though, it totally ruins your reputation and there's not much you can do about it. Happened to me. Had sex with a coworker after a conference. She reported me for rape 2 months later. Everyone immediately shunned me as a rapist. I got lucky though and managed to save all our communication the day she reported me, since she deleted most of it the same night. With that evidence, the investigation ruled in my favor after 5 months. I wasn't allowed at work during this time. When it became obvious that she had made up everything, she didn't see any consequences. Instead she got promoted and I got demoted, just so she wouldn't have to run into me at the company. It's crazy how anyone would lie about rape just to ruin someone's life. She got promoted and I got demoted. That sounds like grounds for a lawsuit. The lengths that I go to protect myself at work are wild. I watched my friend lose everything and had to accept a plea deal. She recanted her story 2 years later, but since he took the deal his record can't be deleted. If you search his name you will still find the charges that were filed all these years later, but you DMN well won't find anything about her recanting her story. She proper F*** scared his life with zero consequences over a lie because she was angry at him. If you aren't hot or funny or interesting you will likely be ignored by everyone on the planet that isn't a decent friend or family member. My best friend in college was elite tier model good looking. He made me realize I wasn't good looking at all and how women interacted so differently with a good looking male. He could do something outlandishly offensive and it was categorized as cute. It also confirmed that women like sex as much as men do, they just don't want to have sex with 95% of the male population. He never went home from the club without a woman unless he simply wanted a good night's sleep. Women literally threw themselves at him in an offensive manner. Women will put a man to shame with their physical and verbal advances towards someone they want to sleep with. I watched a woman walk up to him on a dance floor, put their hand down his pants, grab his junk, say, "That will do," and walk him out the door to take him home. People will say I'm lying about this encounter, but it's 100% truthful. I had a very conventionally attractive guy friend once too. Had the same experiences of watching chicks throw themselves at him. It was almost like a frenzy took over some of them lol. Accordingly, I don't doubt the junk grab story one bit either. I have a friend like this too that unintentionally sucks all the fun out of going to bars with him. I think I'm a pretty decent looking guy, but he's obnoxiously good looking and we'll be in the middle of a conversation when girls will just interrupt us to throw themselves at him. I'm not a particularly insecure guy, but that shit makes me feel completely invisible. Sounds very similar to my old Swedish flatmate. 6'3", jaw chiseled from granite, thick blonde hair, tanned well, but also super chilled and nice guy. He always was so keen to give dating advice out to us. We always ended up just taking the piss out of him for not realizing how good looking he was. He just didn't realize what dating is like for more average looking men. E.g., he genuinely suggested just sitting in a coffee shop and just wait for a girl to come say hi. Just go to Costa, grab a drink, sit down and just wait for a girl to come say hi. He also genuinely did not understand how we didn't pick up girls in a nightclub when we went with him. He actually assumed we were turning girls away. Because in his experience girls just come up to you on the dance floor and start making out with you. He just assumed that was a normal thing.